The morning was calm in the mountain village nestled beneath the shadow of Mount Araka, a long-dormant volcano that locals believe to be nothing more than a sleeping giant. Children played near the river, farmers tended to their crops, and merchants prepared their stalls in the busy marketplace. Life had always been peaceful here, with the volcano serving as a backdrop to their daily routines, its peak covered in mist and greenery. No one expected that within hours, their world would be turned upside down by the fury of nature. It began with faint tremors under the earth, small shakes that rattled windows and caused glasses to topple from shelves. At first, villagers dismissed it as a minor quake, common in the region. But the tremors grew stronger, shaking the ground violently and sending people fleeing into the open. Dogs howled, cattle bolted, and the river's calm waters rippled with unusual force. Fear began to spread as the ground beneath their feet groaned with an ominous rumble. By midday, smoke began to rise from the crater of Mount Araka, a dark column twisting high into the sky. Ash rained down on the village, coating rooftops, trees, and crops in a gray blanket. Breathing became difficult as the air grew thick and heavy. Many rushed to the church for safety, clutching their children and praying for the eruption to stop. Others tried to pack belongings and escape, but the roads quickly clogged with panicked families and carts. The eruption's fury intensified as molten lava began to pour down the mountainside, burning everything in its path. The once green forests ignited into raging infernos, sending plumes of smoke and embers into the sky. Houses on the outskirts of the village were the first to be consumed, their wooden frames collapsing into smoldering ash. The cries of families echoed through the valley as people scrambled to flee the fiery rivers of destruction. Ash clouds spread wider, blotting out the sun and casting the land into an eerie twilight. Day felt like night, and visibility was reduced to a few meters. The marketplace, once filled with color and laughter, was now deserted, its stalls buried under thick layers of ash. Chickens lay lifeless, crops withered instantly, and the once thriving farmland became a wasteland of gray dust and ruin. Explosions from the crater shook the air, sending rocks and debris raining down onto the village. Roofs caved in under the weight of ash and stone. The church, which many had sought for refuge, cracked under the relentless bombardment and finally collapsed, burying those inside. Survivors ran toward the riverbanks, hoping to find safety away from the mountain's wrath. But the river itself turned deadly as lava reached its banks, boiling the waters and releasing steam so thick it scalded anyone nearby. Bridges gave way, cutting off escape routes and leaving many stranded on either side. Boats that could have carried families to safety caught fire and sank. The options for survival grew fewer with each passing moment. The once strong community fragmented as people fled in all directions, driven by desperation. Families were separated in the chaos, parents screaming their children's names as they disappeared into the smoke. Elderly villagers, too frail to run, were carried on makeshift carts, while others made the agonizing choice to leave them behind. The destruction was merciless, sparing no home, no field, no life untouched. Emergency aid from nearby towns was delayed, as roads were blocked by ash and landslides. Helicopters circled the area, but the thick smoke and unpredictable eruptions made rescue nearly impossible. Survivors gathered in small pockets, sharing water and food, clinging to hope as they watched their village vanish under the onslaught. By nightfall, the once beautiful valley lay in ruins. Fires raged unchecked, the sky glowed a deep red, and ash continued to fall like snow. Mount Araka showed no signs of calming, its fury unrelenting. Families huddled together in fear, listening to the distant roar of the volcano that had destroyed everything they knew. In the following days, the scale of devastation became clear. Hundreds were dead, thousands displaced, and the land itself scarred beyond recognition. What had once been a thriving community was now a graveyard of ash and stone. Survivors wept for their loved ones, staring at the smoking peak of the volcano that had turned their paradise into a nightmare. Yet, amid the despair, there was resilience. Villagers began to rebuild in safer lands, determined not to let the eruption erase their identity. They carried stories of their lost homes, teaching their children about the dangers of nature, but also about the strength of human will. Though Mount Araka had claimed much, it could not extinguish the spirit of those who endured its wrath.